Life sometimes come at you fast. Tragedies make your life unravel. You feel like you wanna give up and stay knocked down. Even when your heart is shattered, you still got a life to live. You still got a life to live, so don't give up. We are beautiful miracles. We are beautiful miracles. We are beautiful miracles, so don't give up.
Hello, everybody, and thank you for joining me today on my podcast, Beautiful Tragedy. If you like what you're hearing, would you please like, comment, share, and subscribe? In episode 2, I would like to talk about grieving, how you need to grieve. According to Wikipedia, grief is defined as deep sorrow, especially that caused by someone's death. Grief is really such an interesting emotion. Other words that can describe grief are misery, sadness, anguish, distress, agony, suffering, heartbreak. Grief is a natural response to death. And grief doesn't always have to be associated with a loved one's death. It can be from the loss of a job or a pet, divorce, maybe even a life-altering diagnosis. There are many, many different ways that people deal with grief. Some people shut down. Some people drink or use drugs. Some people bury themselves in work. Some people dive head first towards acceptance and healing. Some people stay stuck. The point is that everyone deals with grief and loss differently, and there is no wrong way, and there is no timeline. You would never tell someone how they're supposed to love another person, so why do we feel like it's okay for us to tell people how they should or shouldn't grieve? Grieving is messy. We just don't know what is normal, and everything feels off kilter. Grieving takes up so much energy, mentally, emotionally, and physically. Grief truly is a full body experience. So many people have been either taught to stifle their grief because it's socially unacceptable to grieve for too long or too openly. And we question ourselves a lot. Are we grieving the right way? Are we grieving the wrong way? We often worry if people don't want to be around us because we're too sad, and it's too hard for a lot of people. We fight with ourselves because being too happy or laughing makes us feel guilty. We're trying to make sense of something that just doesn't make sense in our minds. There's a lot of anxiety around dates, birthdays, anniversaries. Sometimes we feel like we can't share our true feelings in fear that we're going to be judged or shunned. Some of us might have regrets. We might now have irrational fears. But losing someone so very important to you will not only shake your foundation, but it will rearrange your foundation. Grieving can be a very lonely emotion and feeling. People try to say things that are comforting, but sometimes things meant to help can actually sting. You feel like no one understands your pain, and while others may not understand your specific loss, when you talk with others, you start to realize that you're not alone. Often, other people have similar paths. Oftentimes, just knowing that other people have survived what seems unsurvivable can truly give you hope. It can often be hard to find hope when your dreams have been shattered. My hope with this podcast is to give people the space they need to know that they can grieve however they need to grieve, and any way they do it is not wrong. You really don't have to put pressure on yourself to be further along in your grieving process than you are. Also, my hope is that by hearing from a person who is willing to embrace hard subjects and say things that others may not be willing to say, that you can start to learn things that can help you encounter a situation in the future and try your best to say or do something that is helpful. I hope I can encourage you to know that there is help available and you don't have to stay stuck if you want to learn how to have happiness and carry your grief and your joy at the same time. A lot of people question what the right thing is to do when it comes to loss. And I don't claim to have all the answers. I only know from my own experience that grief is a very touchy subject. If I can say something to encourage someone to take the next step, if that's what you want, Learning how to see your way forward is a lot of work, and it's okay if you're not there yet. My hope is that someday you will get there when you're ready. And I also want to say that I think it's important for us to be both students and teachers. When you're open to learning new things, you just almost can't believe how much there is out there to learn. When you realize how much you don't know and new things present themselves, grab onto them. When life is trying to teach you something, be a student. Once you've learned something new and it's changed your life, be a teacher. Share it with the world. The world needs your gift. There is someone out there who is looking for what you know. So be a student and a teacher. And, this season I'm going to be ending the episode with the quote, the Maya Angelou quote, "We do the best we can until we know better. And then when we know better, we do better." So hopefully I've said something today that will give you permission to know that you can grieve however you need to grieve. And that if you're open to learning, there's so much that we can learn from each other and we can teach each other. So thank you.